So this term, at our monthly all-together gatherings, we are going to be thinking about how we can live more like Jesus. Jesus was the perfect example of how to live in faith, and we want to reflect him. So we're going to be exploring some of the ways that we can live more like him to show more of his love, his compassion, his forgiveness, and his mercy. So let's kick off this morning with a quiz. Around your tables, there should be a whiteboard and a pen on your table. Oh, not yet, please, Afia. Don't want to give them any clues. You may have realised the quiz is quite hard. But we're not that mean, Archie and I. So we thought we'd give you a helping hand. So the question will appear on the screen, and you have to write the answer on your whiteboard and then hold it up. However, if you're struggling, Archie can give you a helping hand. You can go and spend a little bit of time with Archie, and he will help you along in the quiz. Does that make sense? Okay, are you ready for question 1? Now you can, Afia. Which dinosaur is characterized by its large bony dome on top of its skull? Any guesses? Does anyone know the answer? Don't forget, if you're struggling, you can go and see Archie and he'll give you, it's not a stegosaurus. Go and spend a minute with Archie. No, it's not whatever that says. Good, thanks. That's a good idea, Liz. Take the board. Ooh. The spelling's a bit interesting, but I think that is right. No, not a triceratops. This one started off with a bang, hey? I think we've had one right answer. Oh. Yeah, that's also right. Okay, we've had some answers. How do you say it? How do you say it? Pachycephalosus. It's a very difficult spelling. Right, question 2. Are you ready? And remember, if you're struggling, you can spend time with Archie and he'll help you. The pitaya fruit is more commonly known by what English name? Not a papaya. Don't forget, you can go spend time with Archie and he will help you out. Good job, Henry. No, it's not an apple, Jane. It's not a pineapple. Yes, you're right. I'm just waiting for some others to get it. The pitaya fruit is more commonly known as the dragon fruit. See, if I described it to you, Neil, it just would have given it away. Right, question number 3. Which planet has the most gravity? And don't forget, if you're struggling, you can see Archie for some help. Oh no, that's not right. That's right. The planet with the most gravity. We've got one correct answer. No, it's not that one. Yes, you're correct. Yes, you're correct. No, you're not correct. Oh. But don't forget, Archie is there to spend some time with, and he'll give you a hand. Right. Oh, I'll wait for Ellen. Ellen's come to spend some time with Archie. That's correct. No, not Saturn. The correct answer is Jupiter. Right, are you ready for question number 4? Eboracum was the Roman name for which English city? Go and spend some time with Archie and he can give you a hand. Eboracum in English is commonly known as York. York. Okay, our last question. Are you ready? What is the largest species of owl in the world? And that's our world, Earth, for you, Neil. And if you're struggling, Archie, if you spend some time with Archie, he will give you a hand. Very obscure questions. So the largest species of owl is the Blackiston fish owl. You can go look that up and see how large it is. So we're thinking about how we can live more like Jesus. And one of the things that Jesus was really aware of was how important it was to spend time with God. Just like in our quiz, to help you succeed, you could go and spend time with Archie, and he would help you out. And that's the same for us. When we spend time with Jesus, he fills our buckets so we can go and live like him. Our story today is from the Gospel of Luke. And it reads like this. Are you ready? One time, Jesus was in a town where a very sick man lived. The man was covered with a harmful skin disease. When he saw Jesus, he bowed before Jesus and begged him, "Lord, heal me. I know you can if you want to." Jesus said, "I want to. Be healed." And Jesus touched the man. Immediately, the disease disappeared. Then Jesus said, "Don't tell anyone about what happened, but go show yourself to the priest and offer a gift to God from your healing as Moses commanded. This will prove to everyone that you are healed." But the news about Jesus was spreading more and more, and many people came to hear Jesus and to be healed of their sickness. Now this is the last verse, and this is what we really are thinking about today. Jesus had just done some amazing work of ministry. He'd just healed people, and he'd been hounded by crowds following him. And verse 16 says, "But Jesus often slipped away to other places to be alone so that he could pray." Jesus knew that even when he was serving, even when he was doing all the ministry he had been called for, he knew that it was important to spend time alone with God. Jesus could have kept going. He could have built his ministry. He could have done miracle after miracle. But he probably would have burnt himself out. And he knew that it was important to spend time alone with God, to realign his vision with God, to refill his tank so he could spend time with Jesus. I wonder, how often do we sometimes feel like our tank is running low, that there's no fuel left to keep us going? What do? Do we turn to God and spend time alone, or do we just power through? I'm guilty of that sometimes too. Just before we head into some more sung worship, just take a moment and have a think about how you spend time with God. Where do you go? What's your space? Maybe you're super creative. Maybe you are reading the Bible. Maybe you are outdoorsy. We are going to spend some time singing some songs now. And as we do, perhaps on your table you can see a post-it note. We want to inspire one another in how we spend time with Jesus. On your post-it note, why don't you write down how you spend time with God, how you spend time with Jesus, and come and put it on our flip chart. And then at the end of the gathering, you can come and see and be inspired and maybe try a new way of spending time with God. Jesus, as we head into some more sung worship, we thank you that we can spend time singing songs with you. That when we sing, you are with us. This is a way that we connect our heart to your heart. Thank you that you don't put your communication with us in a box, but it's personal and different to all of us. Amen.
So, cast your minds back to our Bible story that Jemima read for us just a few moments ago. Now, just in case you are a bit like me and you are cursed with that thing where you switch off a bit during the Bible reading sometimes, does that happen to anyone else, or is that just me? It might, yeah, there's a few of us, isn't there? So there was a man, wasn't there? There was a man who, the reading said he was very sick, and he came to Jesus for his help. Just like you guys could come and get some help up here, okay? The guy was very sick, and he came to Jesus for help. And our theme this morning is all about, it is good to spend time with Jesus alone. And that man in our story, he really put that into action. He knew who Jesus was, he knew what Jesus could do, and he knew how powerful it is to spend time with Jesus. And for that man, it worked. He was healed. He was no longer very sick. And then, at the end of our reading, we hear that Jesus himself put this into action as well in that verse. And it says, "But Jesus often slipped away to other places to be alone so that he could pray." And this happens all the time in the Gospels, the books about Jesus in the Bible. We see Jesus going away, getting away from people to spend time alone with God, his Father. It's amazing. That was the thing that fueled Jesus' amazing ministry on earth. That was his fuel. That was his engine room. That's language that we've used here at St. Edyth as well, isn't it? Prayer is the engine room. That time alone with God. So I think we're going to watch a little video now all about that, all about Jesus' time that he spent alone with God.
During Jesus' time on earth, he prayed a lot. He knew that prayer would keep him close to God, his Father. Sometimes Jesus would pray with others, like when he asked Peter, James, and John to come with him to a mountain to pray. Other times, Jesus would leave his disciples and pray by himself, so he would have time alone with his Father. When Jesus prayed, he prayed for all sorts of things. He prayed for his disciples, for those in need of healing, and for little children. Jesus even prayed for us and asked his Father to watch over us. That's right, Jesus prayed for you and for me. Through Jesus' prayers, we can learn how to pray too. Jesus used the Lord's Prayer to teach his disciples to pray. It wasn't long and fancy. He showed them that they could pray in a simple way about many different things. Our prayers can be the same way. Jesus also taught us that we should pray without giving up. God is always listening to what we say. The way he answers our prayers might be different from what we expect, but we can always trust his plan for us. So the next time you're happy or sad, or worried or angry, or just need help, talk to God about it. He listened to his son's prayers, and he'll listen to yours too.
Jesus prayed. Jesus prayed a lot. He spent time with God, his Father. And that's something that we can do too. Not out of obligation, not because we have to, but because God is our Father who loves us so much. Now, if you don't know, I'm married to a person called Elsie, who is not here today, but I don't spend time with Elsie because I have to. I spend time with Elsie because, a little secret here, I quite like Elsie. I like being around Elsie. I quite like my parents. I don't spend time with them because I have to. I spend time with them because I enjoy it. And that's what happens when we spend time alone with Jesus. We get to that point where we don't do it anymore just because we have to, or just because we think it's the right thing. We do it because we really, really enjoy it. So we're going to think a little bit now about what happens when we spend time alone with Jesus. And it reminds me of my friendship with Neil. I've not told Neil about this, so he doesn't know what's coming. So he's on the edge of his seat. it reminds me of my friendship with Neil. Can I have the next slide, please? So, me and Neil, we've been spending a lot of time together lately. This is us. This is me and Neil. Spending a lot of time together. We've been doing all sorts of stuff. Can I have the next slide, please? There we are. We've been doing some gaming. It's been so much fun. Now, me and Neil, we got invited to a wedding, and something really embarrassing happened. Has this ever happened to anyone where you go out with a good friend, and we both thought we'd try something a bit different for our wedding suits, and we picked the same suit. We didn't even know that this was going to happen. It was a nightmare, wasn't it, Neil? Next slide, please. And then we've had all this warm weather, so we decided to go to the beach, and it happened again. It happened again. We were wearing the same thing. I can't remember if there's any more. I don't know. I don't think there is. There's no more. Great. So, there is a point to this story, I promise. When you spend a lot of time with someone, have you ever noticed that you become more like them? You can sometimes observe it in other people more easily. You see two people spend a lot of time together, and they start to pick up each other's mannerisms. They start to speak similar. They start to say certain things that you think, oh, that's what the other person says. And that's what happens when we spend time alone with God. When we spend time alone with Jesus, we become more like Jesus. We become more kind. We become more patient. We become more loving. We become more like Jesus. So that's what we're going to spend a couple of minutes thinking about now. I think we've got a question on the next slide. In what way do you want to be more like Jesus? Because that's what spending time with Jesus is really about. It's about him making us more like Jesus. Now, some of us are really used to answering questions like this. We might talk about this stuff all the time, but if you're a bit more new to that, or maybe you don't know a lot about what Jesus is like, I think the key is here, just don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just spend a couple of minutes chatting to those around us. In what way do you want to be more like Jesus?
Jesus was our perfect example, and there is so many ways, I'm sure, that we would like to be more like Jesus. But to do that, we need to spend time with them, just like Archie and Neil spent time together and became similar. When we spend time with Jesus, we can become more like him. And we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna put into practice what we've been preaching. We're gonna spend a moment now with God. In TLC, we call it chatting and catching. Prayer, basically. It's all prayer is. It's chatting to God as you would your best friend or your parent or your children. Chatting and telling them all the big stuff and all the little stuff. So take a minute, get comfortable. You might want to close your eyes. You might want to whisper the words, cup your hands around your mouth and whisper your answers to Jesus. You might want to close your eyes just to be less distracted. So let's chat to God. Why don't you tell God your favorite food? Why don't you tell God your favorite thing that he has created? Why don't you tell God something that's worrying you or making you feel a bit scared? God loves to know the little things like our favorite food and the big things that are weighing on our heart. But what's amazing is when we spend time with Jesus, not only do we talk to him, but he shares with us. And we call it catching. Just like when we catch a ball, we're active and we're ready. And we call it catching because God doesn't always speak to us in a voice. He might share a picture or a feeling in your body. So let's ask God some questions. Why don't you ask God what one thing he made that he loves? Why don't you ask God what he loves about you? Why don't you ask God, how can I spend more time with you this week? Jesus, thank you that spending time with you can be different and creative. It can be active. It can be telling you just the small, simple things in our life, or it can be telling you our big feelings, our big worries. And thank you that when we spend time with you, we become more like you. We reflect your characteristics of love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, self-control, faithfulness. Thank you that when we are with you, you fill us with your presence so we can shine out your goodness. Thank you that you want to spend time with each and every one of us here in our week coming. Will you inspire us as to how we will spend time with you?